also. So what we're doing is not only just developing the electric bike, but also provide a special version of the bike for deaf. So there are a lot of deaf people who have a problem of using bikes just because they cannot hear. So they have a problem in terms of finding out if there is any vehicle that is coming from back. So we've developed the technology, and now it is in the crowdfunding mode. I'm helping them to raise this campaign to do a crowdfunding to really help this student to become an entrepreneur. So I invite all of you to really look at anything that you can contribute as an individual, as an institution, or as a responsible citizen to really get engaged, take on cause, and really go deep into it. It might take a number of years to really make it happen, but don't stop till you really make that happen. Thank you very much for the question.
Really, sir. Such a clean and smart city is for whom? For whose welfare? Environment-friendly model must be taking care of the most underprivileged classes as well. 1% people on earth have looted 67% resources of the world, and 50% people on earth are suffering with less than $2 a day. So for whom we are going to create environment-friendly smart cities, and for whom sustainable development? Madam?
Answer will be given.
Answer I am giving, sir. Environment friendly, let us focus on environment friendly social industrialization. Let us digitalize everything along new development model, valuing labor, creativity and competition. And let us construct auto-cleaning, self-repairing and foldable infrastructure. Please try to understand this. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Her views on this auspicious occasion, and we are proud of her that being a technocrat, she has acquired expert knowledge at the master's level in the area of tourism in general, sustainable tourism and cultural heritage management in particular. We would like to also acknowledge your work, and in testimony whereof and by the authority vested in us, we have decided to felicitate you tomorrow at 10 a.m. in the auditorium of India International Center. So kindly find time to come tomorrow in the auditorium, where we will announce a very special accolade and award for you based on your outstanding contribution. Thank you. Congratulations. Mr. Yashwant Bhaveji, who has been a renowned bureaucrat and has been the Secretary to the Government of India, besides being at the helm of affairs in different ministries and public sector organizations. We are sure his suggestions will go a long way. Please.
Thank you, sir. It has been a great honor to be a part of these deliberations. Chancellor Professor Trivedi, Chancellor of the Confederation of Indian Universities, the panelists, all the participants from different disciplines and schools and colleges. Unlike most of you, a bureaucrat is not a master of any trade. He or she dabbles into various disciplines as our career takes, tries to get whatever is possible, tries to give whatever you have imbibed and so on. But I'll make a few observations. First, what struck me as quite unusual was the fact that a fairly large number of disciplines have been represented here. And that is actually befitting the subject of environment. For example, we have the scientific disciplines, mathematics, physics. We also have interdisciplines like commerce. Commerce is not economic discipline alone. It has a lot of mathematics, it has a lot of behavioral science, it has a lot of game theory, which is part of both behavior and mathematics. When countries negotiate, that is nothing but game theory application into actual world. We also have the liberal arts here, history, languages, notably Sanskrit, our ancient language, and all languages, according to some scholars, have evolved through the grammar of Sanskrit. By grammar, I don't mean Vyakaran, but grammar means the structure. Now, why I'm saying so is because any environmental modeling has to use these diverse disciplines in a cohesive manner. That is what struck me as a very interesting field, that awareness about environment is not restricted only to forest, for example, only to botany, zoology. I forgot to mention botany, zoology also a discipline represented here. But that acceptance and awareness has become more broad-based. That is the first sign of a path moving forward. Because as I said, environment is certainly a multidisciplinary approach. When I was in environment, it was environment and forest ministry. And I was enlightened to know that our chancellor, he was the harbinger, initiator of that very ministry where I had the honor to work. Now, most important part which I found, somebody mentioned that, what about implementation? Your laws are there, I don't find any implementation. Now, that is very true. And what is use of pen and paper and so on, there is no implementation. I am reminded of a very interesting conversation with one of the ex-ministers, which he had with his counterpart from Norway. The Minister of Environment from Norway had come here, and our minister was talking, I was the interpreter, because our minister, the redoubtable Gopinath Mundeji in Maharashtra, who also was the environmental minister of the state, but he understood English, but he couldn't very sort of really converse, so I was there. So the minister, our minister was telling the Norwegian lady that, Madam, your country is so green, so nice, so this, so that, and we would like to learn from you about your laws and all that. So she said, Mr. Minister, I have studied your laws, and your laws are better than ours. But she was very frank. She said, what we do with whatever laws we have, we implement them. So that was a very telling comment of a foreign minister saying that we have better laws, maybe, according to her, unless she was only talking out of politeness. But we implement them. The point is, whatever laws we have or whatever prescriptions we have, unless they are implemented, they will only be on paper. To that extent, I fully agree. But here, what insights we should have to have it implemented. To have no law is of no use. But how do you implement or make people implement the laws? Now, very recently, there is a Nobel laureate, I'm sure many of you must have heard and come across. He is a behavioral Nobel laureate, behavioral scientist, economist, Richard Thaler. He's from US. Now, he has a theory of nudge theory. It's being called a nudge theory, and his book, if you Google, is called Nudge. Nudge as the English language nudge, a gentle push. The classic example he gives is that junk food versus healthy food. Let's put it that way. Now, we all want to promote healthy food. I heard that don't eat this, that, very true. Now, if you say and keep on saying that I am banning all other food, it will not work. So, example he gives is very interesting. He says to put a fruit, he's talking about the sort of shops, to put a fruit at an eye level can be counted as nudge. To ban junk food does not. So banning versus nudging, he has this theory. It may be of some use, may not be of some use, but the British Prime Minister, Cameroon, he actually implemented that theory in 2010. He had a behavioral insight team, BIT, which then was called as a nudge team or a nudge unit. And the person who was responsible, David Halpern, he now has converted the whole thing into an NGO. But that's a separate matter. So what I'm trying to say is, in fact, how do we have that nudge to use environmental friendly techniques, whether it is plastic, whether it is green, whether it is Harit Krantri, whether it is, or whatever you call it, or Swachha Bharat, etc. How do you nudge people into this is, to my mind, is a challenge. And there, in fact, what was mentioned that you have billboard, that is nudge. You see sort of a signal, you see a billboard, you see a message again and again, and you do feel that. In fact, it is said that a lie is told 100 times becomes a truth. So we are not telling any lie, but we are trying to nudge. Another point which I would like to just share with you is that how do we, apart from nudge, that is one aspect, how do we put the people, the students, the sort of stakeholders, they put it stakeholders, everybody is a stakeholder. How do we put those stakeholders such that they have skin in the game? Now, here I am reminded of another book called The Skin in the Game, that's the name of the book, by Nassim Taleb. If you Google it, a remarkable book, Nassim Taleb. Now, what he says is very interesting. The first sentence he says is, we find the world being governed by people. I am saying people politely because he calls some, he says fools. He says world is governed by fools who have no skin in the game. And he gives instances why it is so and so on. I will not go into that detail. So how do we make stakeholders having skin in the game of having a better environment? That is another challenge. I don't have answers. And as the professor mentioned, the answers we might some of them we will get at 4:30 when our very erudite chief guest is arriving. Now, the other thing which was rather startling was that how environment is as bad as some man-made disease. I mean, for example, cancer. Now, smoking and cancer is well known. I mean, their relationship. But it struck me, I think it came only today or yesterday in the press, that the assistant professor of oncology in Delhi University, I mean in AIIMS, he said that in fact, cancer of course, through tobacco is of course well known, but respiratory problems in Delhi are as prevalent as cancer owing to environmental pollution, particulate matter and so on. So that is frightening. Now, all of us have skin in the game who stay in Delhi. Then what do we do about it? One of course is the having cars, numbers, alternate cars, that is one sort of approach to that. So, answers are not easy. And how do we do it? So, but at the end of the day, I think we will have to find these answers, whether you ban plastics, whether you have, something else, whether you ban industrial revolution and go back to Luddite theory, or in fact there is an interesting movie, I forget the name, some alien comes to the earth and he says, I am going to protect earth, the words are important, I am going to protect earth, I have come to protect earth, and he starts killing people. So people are not sure what is he really our friend or a foe? Ultimately it turns out, what he said was, I am protecting earth, not human race. And so he throws back the earth to the prehistoric ages and so on, because that is how the earth will be protected. So what the message of that whole picture is that there has to be a balance. Many of you must have read that, seen that movie called Avatar. Avatar, I don't know whether, now Avatar, people may feel it's a science fiction. There's some animation or an animation movie. Now what I get a message from that movie is, apart from excellent animations, I get a message that everything in this planet, on this planet, is interconnected. How you feel, the plants can see, or can feel. What plants exhume is what you breathe and so on. So that is the message. Everything is interconnected. Human mind and body is interconnected. You have impact on other species have impact on you. So how do we live in harmony? That is the message of environment. That is environment ambience. So I am very happy to be with you here and try and share some thoughts, however elementary. And I am sure that with the participation of all of you, under the guidance and the support and the vision of our Chancellor, we are sure to move along the correct path in this environment day. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bhavi, for your comments and your suggestions and your experiences. We are sure your thoughts and your advice will go a long way in deciding critical path, solve the problems related to pollution in general and its solution in particular. Friends, now is the time to start the valedictory session, which is the concluding session for today, and we are going to have a new program tomorrow at 10 a.m. which will run up to 5 p.m. about 8 hours of marathon sitting. The first item on the agenda is the welcome address in the valedictory session. I call upon Dr. Trivedi to deliver the welcome address.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, today we are observing the 38th anniversary and annual day celebration of the Indian Institute of Ecology and Environment, which is the main organizer of the National Environment Convention 2018, but which is the only institute of its type in India for taking care of environmental education, advocacy, awareness, pollution monitoring and control, natural resources conservation and management, besides environmental impact assessment, disaster mitigation and management, sustainable development, GIS and remote sensing. Our group of institutions led by Dr. Priya Ranjan Trivedi under the broad umbrella of the World Institution Building Program initiated the 5th June, the World Environment Day celebrations from 5th June 1972, the same year when United Nations organized the first conference on environment and development at Stockholm in Sweden. The Indian Institute of Ecology and Environment joined the World Environment Day from 5th June 1980, the day this institute was established. And this was 2 years before the Government of India established the Ministry of Environment. Today and tomorrow, we will be discussing the two themes, mainly the role of schools, colleges and universities in protecting our environment, besides the United Nations theme, Beat the Plastic Pollution. It is in this context that the selected schools and colleges have been invited to receive the Plastic Free School or Plastic Free College of the Year award, besides making their contribution towards making their campus free of plastic products. We welcome the Honorable Minister, the ambassadors, High Commissioners and their representatives. Thank you very much.
Friends, we are glad to inform you that the Honorable Minister, once he arrives, will be given a set of books which are new and rare books. We are ready to email the copies of the books to any person who would like to have a copy of these publications. It will be for free. They have to just email to us. You know our email because we have been inviting you through our email. You have been receiving our invites. So you have to just return the mail by writing a request that you want the following books. First book to be presented to the Honorable Minister is the book titled Foreign Policies of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This is a 500-page book, Foreign Policies of Narendra Modi Government. This is the title. All these policies adopted by the present government while strengthening ties between India and the rest of the world are mentioned here. The other book we are going to present to him is the Cleaner Production for Green Business. For that matter, we have to understand as to what is green business and what is greening of business. Businessmen are many, but a green business is one where we do not pollute the environment. So for that matter, a clean technology and a cleaning up technology is also required. We have to have a cleaner production. Only then we will be able to have a no pollution zone. And in that case, a green business will be defined only when we have clean technologies and cleaning up technology. So this book will be presented to him. There is another book. PDF version is ready because it is in Hindi, and if we do not give you a PDF version, if we don't give you a PDF version, you won't be able to read it out because Hindi fonts are many, and many of you may not be having the Hindi fonts downloaded in your computer. So the only answer is the Mangal font, that too in PDF format. This book in Hindi titled Ramnath Kovind, Raisina Tak Ka Safar. From ranks to Raisina. He was a very poor person, and then he rose up to the Raisina hills to the post of the President of India. The entire story is mentioned here. So friends, besides this book, we are also going to present to the Honorable Minister a book titled Spirituality and Religion Interface, the interrelationship, the interdependence between spirituality and religion is all described here, running into more than 600 pages. This is the only book of its type published anywhere in the world. So it's a bonanza for you. Keep on writing and bothering us, and within 2-3 days after we receive your mail, we'll be able to email you the book, because nobody reads the printed formats. It is bulky, costlier, and also time consuming, whereas you can't enlarge it in computer or for that matter in your laptop or in your cell phone, which in India people call it mobile. I do not know why do they call it mobile, because it's not a mobile, it's a cell phone, a cellular phone, but we call mobile. So, because that time the telephone used to be static, and once we used to go with the telephone, so it became a mobile. There are many other books also. The other book, which is written by Dr. Markandeya Rai, is a book titled Challenges of the 21st Century. Cover is not open, so you have to guess it. Challenges of the 21st Century, 2 volumes. One is on sustainable urbanization, and the other volume is on peace, environment, and youth. So, friends, these all books will be presented to him, because he will be able to dedicate these books to the world citizenry, because similar books have been released by the Honorable Minister who are present in the morning session, and who was Dr. Jitendra Singh, the Union Minister in the Prime Minister office, besides being a Minister for the Development of Northeastern region, as also Minister in charge of personnel, public grievances, pension, atomic energy, etc., etc. So, friends, this is all about the program which happened in the forenoon, and whatever happened after 2 p.m. is all before you. And whatever will occur within 1 hour is also known to you now. And after the inaugural speech of the Honorable Minister, then we'll invite all the important schools and colleges and individuals who will be felicitated for their outstanding contribution towards environmental protection. With these words, I congratulate all the awardees, and also thank from the core of my heart all the persons who are hearing my voice, who are present in this octagonal hall, and